Welcome back to the Beyond the Backboard Podcast, everybody. Today we have another special episode of 2 Minute Drill in the spirit of the NBA Finals going on right now. We're going to be talking about some of the most underrated Finals performances in the history of the game. This can go back, if you want to go back to the 50s to 60s, that's fine. If you want to go back to last year's series, Celtics versus Mavericks, that's fine too. But we're going to go ahead and throw it over to Earl here. Who's your underrated Finals performance? And I should clarify, this is for a series, so a series-long performance. Who's someone
2
you want to
minutes? Start now.
Shout out, Max.
Let me take out on a flashback, man. Everybody has probably stepped place in this place one time in the world. And I'm talking about the Walt Disney. We're going back to 2020 NBA Finals, the purest form of NBA basketball of all time. I'm talking about this. Let me set the plate up. I only got 2 minutes. This was the team where we had the James Harden and Chris Paul Rockets. This is the same team where we had the Denver Nuggets emerging as one of those special offensive talent teams. This is the same year that we had the Clippers absolutely choke to babyface Luka. Like, we had all that in a span of 3 months of hoops, isolated hoops. But let me get into it. This finals was one of the most underrated finals, just because I'm going to highlight one particular player, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler absolutely carried that Heat team all the way to the NBA Finals. Even in the game, in a closeout game when LeBron James was going absolutely insane, Jimmy Butler put the team on his back, absolutely closed out that game, and gave him another day of life in the bubble. So I think Jimmy Butler and what he was able to do with that young team, we're talking about a young Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and how they were able to elevate their game all the way up in that playoff series to go to the NBA Finals and compete with LeBron James and Anthony Davis in their prime. I thought it was a great series. So for me personally, just the bubble in general, like we seen the Anthony Davis game winner step back three on, I think it was either Jokic or Jamal Murray, whoever it was, absolute cinema. And the way Vogel was able to switch our defensive sets every single series had a different game plan, and they all worked. So I'll say going into that Heat series is one of my favorites to watch because it was just hoops. It was pure hoops, no crowd. You're just going out there bag for bag, seeing who the best is and who can play under the tensions of we actually love the game of basketball. That's what it was. It was for the love of basketball. So that's my favorite, most underrated finals, and people give it a lot of disrespect, even though almost every NBA player says it was one of the hardest ones they've ever been in.
And we got to stop it there. Perfect. Next person to pick it up is Max. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, now.
I'm going to throw this back to, I think, one of the best finals performances of all time. Unfortunately for him, it was in a losing effort. But the losing effort came at the hands of the 93 Chicago Bulls, which is probably one of the best teams ever. So I feel like we can give him a bit of a pass here. Charles Barkley in the 1993 finals averaged 27 points a game with 13 rebounds and 5.5 assists in the course of the series. Obviously, his sons lost in 6 to the MJ Bulls. This is Chuck's only finals appearance, but for his only finals appearance, I feel like he showed out. In 6 games, he averaged more than 46 minutes per game. He averaged 46.2 minutes per game. So he basically played every second of every game. He was carrying the Suns team on his back. 21-11, 42-13 in game 2, 21-17 in game 6 that they ultimately wound up losing. But I just don't see how this I can see how this performance doesn't get talked about. It's because it was at the end of the Bulls three-peat. Obviously, all the attention goes to them, and MJ had a phenomenal series because he's MJ. But Barkley deserves a lot of credit for going toe-to-toe with prime MJ, and I feel like holding his own. I think we can all say that he did not have a second runner-up player to the caliber of Scottie Pippen on that Suns team. But for some reason, people just love to clown on him just for the zero rings thing. Like, I get it, but that's just a ring culture conversation off to the side. If we're looking at Barkley's individual performance, putting up these kind of numbers in the finals, and he also shot the ball well. He shot 47.6% from the field, which is pretty darn good. He wasn't just out there chucking shots and having to miss a bunch to carry his team. I think that this is a serially underrated finals performance by Barkley. He gets talked a lot about, the zero rings, but people don't mention the fact that when he did get his one shot at the finals, his best year, he absolutely showed up. That's not something you can sniff at. It's 27-13. Those are elite numbers. If someone were to do that today, they would get a ton of credit. So shout out to the Chucksters, monster finals back in 93.
All right, we got to cut it off there. Jay, you want to pick it up here?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it to 2 minutes.
That's cool. We are going to start your 2 minutes now.
All right, so my all-time finals performance in this series like Max's, is in a losing effort. I'm going to go 2019 Klay Thompson in the Raptors series. Klay Thompson in that series averaged 26, 5 and 2, 58% from the three, 54% from the field goal in general on 8 3-point attempts. 58 from 3 and 8 attempts is pretty nuts. As we all know, Klay Thompson went down with the ACL injury in Game 6. He had 30 up to that point. Well, 28. He went to the line with a torn ACL and hit 2 more of them things. Shout out to Klay Thompson. One of the most memorable series of my lifetime because that whole playoffs was amazing. Like Kawhi was going through the gauntlet of the East, knocking down everybody, hitting crazy shots, all that stuff. But then this final series with the Warriors, man, it was only Curry and Klay. As we all know, KD got hurt towards Achilles. We've seen a lot of Klay Thompson. You have some big games in this series. I'm going to name some. Game 1, 21. Game 2, 25. Game 3, 28, 26, 30. And we all know they lost, but shout out to Klay, man. I wish he never got injured in that series. Who knows what would have happened? Probably would have won 7. Who knows? Never say never. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Klay Thompson 2019 as my most underrated finals performance.
All right.
I like that. I like that.
Shout out Klay.
30 seconds to spare, by the way.
That's a good bag.
W.
So I'm gonna start my 2 minutes here, and I'm gonna say I want to thank you all for leaving me the greatest finals performer of all time, arguably the greatest player of all time, the all-time leading scorer, everybody's favorite GOAT, LeBron Raymond James. We're going back to 2016, down 3-1. We already know the vibes here.
Underrated? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh. But the fact of the matter is nobody talked about it, so I'm going to talk about it, right?
Okay, you're right.
Down 3-1 against the 73-9 Golden State Warriors. Back-to-back 41-point games in 5 and 6. And a Game 7 masterclass, 27, 11, and 11. Shit. LeBron James has been doing this quite literally his entire life. Chat, this is a casual take. That's crazy. That is crazy. But, hey, man.
Sorry.
I just think LeBron James...
Continue.
I just think LeBron James had the greatest finals performances of all time. And I'm not to say that this is underrated by any means. I think everybody remembers this finals performance. This is not really anything new to anybody. But I do still think that LeBron James, the greatest finals performance, and it's all on paper. That's all I have to say, really. I have like 35 seconds to spare. I mean, there's not much to say to that.
Since we have a little extra time, look, I'm a Brown fan, but that's lazy.
What?
Straight up. That's not underrated. That's literally the most rated. Like everybody knows.
That's so
That's
rated.
the opposite. That's the most rated finals of all time. Like
I thought you were about to say 07 Spurs series when he was going stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fair take as well.
I thought you were gonna talk about one that he lost or something like that, like Young Brown or something like that, carrying a trash Cleveland team, something like that.
Or underrated. If you want to talk about
that is kind of fair because we did say underrated teams, but if I gotta say that is another team, the Spurs, the 07 Spurs were another team that
elite.
You
know who I was stuck between?
I was
stuck between going with Klay 2019, or I was gonna go with Drew Holiday 2021. That's
a pretty good. That's a really good one as well. I like the Drew Holiday.
Honestly,
one.
I would shout Middleton from that team. I'd shout
the Drew Holiday one is because that
was the Hawks championship, by the way. That was the Hawks championship.
Drew had two of some of the
check
greatest.
The stats, Max. Check the stats.
Drew had two of the greatest defensive plays. The rip off of D-Book and the other one, and the alley-oop to Giannis. He had some great plays in that series. Like, that was a good finals.
That's true. I think him and
it
Middleton
was supposed to be Trey's first ring.
I guess Drew gets more credit now for his selfish.
So unfortunate.
If anything, because of recency bias.
The Bucks championship is absolutely more important by what Drew Holiday did.
It was a better showcase of Drew Holiday.
Exactly, and then Chris Middleton was
because
awesome
that's the thing. Everybody thinks that Drew Holiday is replaceable. But then once you realize you'll never find somebody like Drew Holiday ever again, you're kind of just in a bad place for a long time.
Unless you got Derek White.
You got Derek White. And
Let's kick the camera, Quincy.
with that, thank you guys so much for tuning in on this episode of Beyond the Backboard 2-Minute Drill. Be sure to check us out every week, 3 times a week. We are here, and we are doing everything in our power to make sure you guys see us. We're on X. We're on YouTube. We're on every place that you love, every platform that you love. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate every single one of you guys. And thank you, Earl, because I love you. And I know you're just, I know you're just doing this because it's love. So thank you guys so much. Peace out.
Peace, boys.